Hi guys. Alright, so sorry for the multiple parts. Like I said in part 1, this is my first day periscoping, and I chose Meal Prep Monday. I've got, let me get you caught up. We've got hard-boiled eggs we've already finished, breakfast quinoa, and brown rice. So food for the week, all ready to go. I just have to pull out my portions. I'm steaming some asparagus. I wanted to still maintain its bright green color and crunch. I don't want it to get too flimsy. So I'm going to turn it off because as you can see, these are already green. And I'm going to pull them out. And I keep them in a Tupperware container so that we can just pull from them the rest of the week. So now I've got my asparagus done. I have turkey burgers that are weighed out in 4-ounce patties. They're in the oven and they'll be ready to come out pretty soon. And we also put in some mahi-mahi that we coated lightly with some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and we also use some garlic pepper and some garlic powder. So I've got my asparagus done. I'm gonna let it cool. I'm not gonna cover it because I don't want it to get too soft and mushy. Brussels sprouts are just about soft. So I put on a good roast. I put a little bit of olive oil, again, garlic powder, some seasoning, that's always really good. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of balsamic vinegar.
Thanks for the hearts, guys. And if you have any questions, type them in there. This is Mark, the cameraman, right here.
I'm going to turn this down and just let that absorb up some of that liquid. And then
welcome to all the new people joining.
Into a container. I'm going to rinse this out because I had some sweet potatoes peeling in there.
So you can see we have the sweet potatoes over here. Just peeled them. We've got some chicken breasts. We've got some squash over here too. Lots of Tupperware.
So once everything is prepped, everything will go into this nice little Tupperware container. They all stack by meals in my fridge. I usually have a lean protein, a veggie, and then a great complex carb. So like brown rice or the sweet potatoes or quinoa will go inside there. So I have
thanks for the hearts, guys. Lots of hearts.
What's this guy behind? All right, so the first batch of Brussels sprouts is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and move them over. And again, you want to take them off while they're still bright green. Don't let them get too brown because you want them to still have some crisp and you want them to reheat nicely.
Yeah. We love quinoa too. Quinoa is super easy to make, super easy to prep, just like brown rice.
It's my new favorite breakfast carb. So instead of oatmeal, I use the quinoa. I add water, a little bit of almond milk, some cinnamon, and let it all mix up together. Top it with some strawberries, and it's a great breakfast. So I'm warming up. I have the oil. The pan was already really hot, so the oil doesn't take too long to heat up. I'm going to add the rest of my Brussels sprouts that all I did was trim off the bottoms and gave them a good rinse to make sure they were clean. Don't want to eat up any dirt. And then I'm going to add garlic powder, which this guy's almost gone, so I think that's just about enough. Usually use a palmful of garlic powder. And then I'm also going to add again my Slavo salt. I really like this seasoning because it doesn't have any sodium. And it already has garlic, pepper, and then a little bit of kosher salt. Add about a tablespoon in there. And then I'm going to give this a good turn, put the lid on it, and let them cook down a little bit. Get them soft. Soft but not mushy. These are not your grandma's Brussels sprouts. And then we're also going to check on, once these get a good coat on them, I'll cover them and turn them down, and I'll pull out the turkey burgers and we can check them. Move this guy out of the way. Cover that, and let's check those turkey burgers. You don't want to overcook any of your meats because when you go to reheat them, they're going to be really dry. because everything is so lean. You definitely want to make sure you do not overcook them. So you can see I've got the fish in here. All I did was coat it with brushed on a little bit of olive oil and then put my seasonings on them, and I'm going to continue to bake those. Turkey burgers are done, so I'm going to go ahead and box a few of these up. Spatula. And I usually do turkey burgers as my meal number 6 with a cup of mixed veggies. So all I have to do is go pop in a cup of mixed veggies from the freezer and then stack these back up in the fridge. So I'm gonna prep maybe...
Hi Louisa, how are we doing? Welcome. Sorry about that. Do I speak Portuguese? No, but Danielle speaks Spanish. So... not exactly there, but close. If you have any questions, you want to type them in Portuguese.
No.
I can do my best on the translation.
All right, so I have my 5 turkey meals ready, and I'm going to put in a scoop of the veggies. The leftovers are going to go into another Tupperware for Mark to pull from the rest of the week.
Hi from Italy. Wow.
If you meal prep, what are some of your favorite foods to meal prep?
Okay, we have consigue me entender. Can you help me on the translation on that one? We're gonna have to work on this.
Understand? Okay.
All right. One guy said chicken noodle soup. Meal prepping. Soups are great to meal prep because you can always make them in 6, 8, 10 servings at once, and then reheat them throughout the week. Soups are great for meal prepping.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab my mixed veggies so that I can
All right, thank you for the hearts, guys. You can see what we've got going on over here. We still have our Brussels sprouts going. We still have our mahi-mahi in there. And just kind of walking over here, this is kind of how we do it. You can see turkey burgers have come off. Got some hard-boiled eggs cooling off here. We generally pick Sunday or Monday for meal prepping. 3 kids, we run a couple businesses. Just a busy life, it makes it so much easier to get it done. And it takes only a few hours. And as Danielle mentioned, keeps us away from the drive-through and kind of cutting corners later in the week because life always gets busy. It always does.
Alright, so my meal 5 is ready to go. I use this vegetable medley. It's organic from Costco's freezer section. Now when these start to unthaw in the fridge and I go to reheat them, they'll be ready to go. They're not mushy. The patty's already pre-measured into 4 ounces. So I have my meal 5 prepped and ready to go. Give those Brussels sprouts another toss and add the balsamic to them. The Brussels sprouts are going to be paired up with the mahi-mahi. And I'll usually have that midday, my meal 4. So they're starting to get a good roast on them. You see how they're turning bright green? They're not brown, they're not soggy or mushy. They still have good texture or firmness to them.
Praline C says yum. Exactly.
And now I'm going to add the balsamic vinegar.
Growing up, I hated Brussels sprouts when my grandma saw them, or when my grandma made them. Whenever I saw that she was making them, I kind of cringed because they're always mushy. But just kind of sauteing them in a little bit of oil with some garlic powder, some seasoning, and then adding that balsamic at the end, it makes them perfect. They reheat, they're crisp. I could eat a cup or 2, no problem. So, yeah, they're always a big fan favorite at our house when we make them either for meal prep or we just make them for a dinner or we've got family coming on over. They're great.
Okay, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my measuring cup and start taking a cup of Brussels sprouts because that's going to get paired with our fish. And so then once the fish comes out, all we have to do is toss in the filet, and then that meal is already done. My meal number one usually is egg whites with some quinoa. And so I already did the big bulk of quinoa. That is in the fridge. I'll take out a scoop of that and just mix up some egg whites, heat up some egg whites. So here's my measuring cup. I'm gonna get about a cup of Brussels sprouts. And like I said, I'm gonna bundle up maybe like 5 meals worth so they're ready to go. And then whatever's left over kind of stays in here for the rest of the family to pull from. I like to leave mine ready to go so that I can grab them. I'm a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. I usually remember to pack them, but not pack myself. So since I started meal prepping, I never really go hungry, and I don't make bad food choices because all I have to do is go in and grab one of my meals. They're ready to go. So here's the last one.
Yeah, if you guys have any meal prepping questions, just type them in there. She loves your tank.
Thank you.
That's good.
Alright, so these Brussels sprouts are done. Again, they're still bright green. You don't want brown veggies. You want them to keep their greenness.
About how long do you cook them for?
They were in there
5 minutes maybe?
like 5 minutes. I mean, as long as we've been broadcasting, it's about 5 minutes.
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Not very long at all. And then I take them off, and I actually pop them right in the fridge so that the cold will stop the cooking process.
Little trick right there.
And if you're gonna put them in blanch them, which is boiling water and then dumping them in, you want to make sure you have an ice bath ready to go if you were gonna blanch your veggies. Either way, you want them to stop cooking. And I just heard the top one.
Somebody says, "Feed me, I'm hungry." Well, we haven't created the meal prepping business where we're shopping out the meals, but we're showing you it's really easy. It's easy.
All right, so I'm going to move this hot pan away.
Like I said, any questions you guys have, just let us know, and we'll help you out.
On the fish.
How's the fish looking?
Fish is looking good.
How hot do you have the oven at?
I had the oven at 350.
Okay.
And it's still got a little bit of pink, so we're gonna leave that in there cooking a little bit longer.
All right. Thanks for the hearts, guys.
So I'm gonna show you what I do while that's in there cooking. I'm gonna move these over, and then I will show you what I do with the sweet potatoes. I was not a fan of sweet potatoes, I must be honest. I just recently became a fan of them.
Cammy Lou, hello.
Thanks
for joining
cube
us.
them and roast them in the oven with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. And then you kind of have that sweet and salty going on because the sweet potato is sweet, but the way I grew up having them was only at Thanksgiving and usually covered in like honey and pineapple and marshmallows, so they were like very sweet and very mushy, and I don't do mushy.
We just got greetings from Uruguay.
Nice.
So again, we're gonna have to brush up on our Spanish even more. We're in San Diego, so we do speak Spanish, not so much on Portuguese. Are you guys raw? As in, do we only eat raw food? Is that what you mean? Said yes.
No.
No, we cook a lot of our meals. We'll eat a lot of salads raw, a lot of fruits. I'd say we're probably, honestly, 85 to 90% clean eating. We prep our meals just like we're showing you right now. This is a weekly occurrence for us. You can see Danielle's just working with the sweet potatoes. She peeled them, and then slices them and then cubes them. Makes it cook really well.
You want to try to have them all about the same dimension and size so that they cook the same temperature. So they cook evenly. You don't want to bite into one sweet potato that's super done and mushy and then one that's raw because it didn't get cooked. So it really helps if you make them all about the same size. So the bigger pieces I cut into 4s, while this one is about half because it's the smaller end of the sweet potato.
So again, just kind of cutting off the ends.
About 1.5 to 2 inches thick. I don't like my veggies mushy, so I'm going to keep them on the thicker side and let them have a little bit of bite to them.
Oops, that one's running away.
All right.
You can see we're not quite ready for prime time on the Food Network yet, but definitely having fun with it.
What are some of your favorite veggies out there?
Is that a yam? It's a sweet potato. To tell you the truth, I don't know the difference between a yam
and white, and
yams
they taste the same.
They taste the same.
I usually get whatever's at the store.
Or whatever's cheaper at the store. Honestly, with food prepping, we look for deals. We look for what's in season for fruits and vegetables a lot of times. Bok choy, that always works real well. I was actually just at the grocery store. London broil is $3.99 a pound. I'll be stocking up on it so I can turn it into sirloin patties. When chicken is $1.99 for chicken breasts, I'll buy 20 pounds of it. Put it in the freezer, and then we have it for the month. So, I mean, I've seen chicken breasts as cheap as $1.99. Same chicken, I've seen as high as $7.99 a pound. So, kind of a good rule of thumb is if you have that consistency, when you see things are on sale, you take advantage of a good deal. So Danielle's almost done with those.
And they're going to go into a baking sheet into the oven as soon as the fish comes out. I try not to have multiple things cooking in the oven. One, it takes a little bit longer if you're utilizing both of the racks, unless it's like this, if both racks had meat on them. But the veggies are going to cook at a little bit of a different temperature than the meats. So, and they will cook faster and much more efficiently if you only use one rack at a time. I learned that the hard way also.
Yeah. A lot of food prep, honestly, is trial and error. Not everything's going to come out perfect the first time. But you wouldn't expect it to. So, I mean, some things have been ones we've nailed and it's just perfect, and others have just been, honestly, they've been fails. But that's just the reality of it. So, you can see sweet potato over here. It's been cubed. What are we going to do to it next, Danny?
I'm going to toss a little bit of my leftover olive oil. It looks like there's about 2 tablespoons in there. So I'm going to toss the rest of that in. I had brushed that onto the fish.
Okay.
I just want to get it a good coat so that it roasts really nicely and it doesn't dry out.
So if I didn't put the olive oil, it'd probably get dry?
They get dry and they don't absorb the flavor of the salt and the garlic as well.
Kind of see what's going on right here with it.
Now, I'm not drowning in it. It's not a cup of oil. Like I said, it's just 2 tablespoons just to get it coated.
Thanks for the hearts, guys, again. Are those chicken breasts on the table?
Yes. So I'm going to take the chicken breasts, and those are going to go either on the grill or in the oven also.
Generally, we eat, honestly, between 5 and 6 times a day of these mini meals. So, it depends on, is it a high-calorie day, a low-calorie day? What's the workout? What are we doing? But I really would hate to eat the same thing 4 times a day. Chicken breast and broccoli, honestly, get really old really fast. So, we have a couple different protein sources that we generally use. We'll use a lean sirloin. Like I mentioned, the London broil is on sale, so I'll turn that into some burgers. Turkey breast that we'll ground and turn into patties. Chicken breast. We'll use the mahi-mahi. I'll have a shake once or twice a day post-workout, and sometimes if I'm rushing in the morning, I'll just make a shake. But generally, it's the same half dozen or so things.
So take a palmful of garlic powder. It's a palmful of garlic powder in there. I had 4 really good sized sweet potatoes. So obviously you wouldn't need that much if you didn't have that many sweet potatoes. And then I'm gonna get some pepper. Not as much pepper. A little bit of pepper. Because a little bit of pepper goes a long way. And then my kind of all-purpose seasoning salt. Now I don't use a whole lot of this. So same with the pepper.
Little goes a long way.
Little goes a long way. So maybe half a palm. And then I just toss it all in.
All right. So again, super easy. So that's the tray that you just used beforehand right there?
Yeah, I rinsed the tray really well. It's a Pampered Chef tray. It's been seasoned so it doesn't stick. You don't need to add kind of any kind of coating because it keeps it nice and the seasoning on it over time keeps it from sticking. And things roast really well in it. So that olive oil really helps the seasonings stick to the yams or sweet potatoes, whatever you want to call them. And then I'm going to spread them on the pan.
How long will you cook these for? Since I think our battery's going to die before then.
They are going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes. Poke a fork through them. Again, you don't want them mushy like mashed potatoes, but you want to be able to get the fork through.
At about 350, 375
375.
Again? Okay. Cool.
Make sure you only have a single layer of potato. And that's about it for our meal prep. Thanks for joining us, and check back for more Periscopes this week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Battery was at 40. That's already born.